Only, when Lord Richard de Clare tried to cross Welsh lands, his force was ambushed in the steep hills and completely annihilated. This once mighty lord and all of his heavily armored Norman soldiers were shockingly killed to a man. The Battle of Crug Mawr, 1136. Also known as the Battle of Cardigan. Owain Gwynedd, son of the King of Gwynedd, marched into the Norman-controlled lands near Cardigan with an army of 6,000 soldiers. These were drawn from the professional retinues of the two largest Welsh kingdoms. Robert Fitzmartin, commander of the Normans, had gathered a much larger Norman army, upwards of 8,000 strong, formed of Flemish infantry, local levies, and a substantial force of elite Norman heavy cavalry. The large Norman army formed up on the side of an odd-shaped hill just outside of Cardigan, taking up a strong defensive position with 3 deep ranks, the Flemish infantry at the front, the levies in the middle, and the renowned Norman cavalry drawn up behind and on the flanks of the hill. The sight of that much larger force of Normans, their flags billowing in the wind, with front ranks packed with well-armored heavy infantry and a large force of the dreaded Norman heavy cavalry that dominated the battlefields of Europe, drawn up on the flanks, must have been terrifying. Yet the Welsh army showed no fear, relentlessly moving forwards, towards the steep hill lined with Norman invaders. The Welsh army, predominantly heavy infantry, formed up into a single dense line, with a small token force of Welsh cavalry on the flanks. That Welsh army must have seemed desperate opposite the much this was when the Welsh introduced a weapon to the battlefield that would become legendary the world over, the weapon that would dominate the late medieval battlefields of Europe for the next 400 years, the larger Norman army, which held the high ground.